All right, so I wanted to make this video because a lot of you seem like you're struggling with style, paragraph and character style guides. So I wanted to do this and hopefully clarify some things and help you go through this process. The paragraph and character styles are really there for you to help you be more of an efficient designer and also keep your elements consistent. So once you set them up, you'll see how easy it is to apply them. All right, so I'm looking at the cover here of Starlight Bistro. I'm just going to use this as a demo. So what you are to do is to use paragraph and character styles for the inside of your menu as well. So really it's up to you to decide on the grid structure. How are you going to balance your images out with your type? You know, pulling your margin guides in and out vertically and horizontally will also help you figure this out. So I'm going to kind of set this up to a grid structure that I was thinking about. And I'm pulling out a vertical margin here at about 2.5 inches. And I'm going to say, okay, part of this is going to be, I'm going to pull some of this image in for cohesiveness. And then I'm going to have other smaller menu images in here that also will be a part of the inside of the menu. I'm going to pull another vertical guide, and this is just to kind of give me, show me the space that's needed in between my imagery and my text. So let's start it at 3 inches is where my text box would go. Now these guides will not print. They're just for you to kind of align your text boxes and your image boxes. So I'm going to go ahead and draw out one text box. And then I'm going to open up the, now obviously you would go in and get your menu text. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to do a command paste. Okay, so it should look like that. So this is basically where you should be at. If you wanted to play around with, say that you're going to go with a full column, you're not going to do a grid like I did, you can adjust your columns. This would be too long of a line length here. So how you could adjust that very easily is if you go up to type, go up to object, I always go under type, text frame options, and you can actually change your number of your columns here. So you can see I changed this to 2 columns, you can change it to 3 columns, so that's just an easy way to do that. Because I'm not doing it that way, I'm gonna just do 1 column. It's, you know, not as wide, so it's easy to read, and I'm keeping this column open for an image. So I'm going to go ahead and add an image in here on the left-hand side. And I'm just going to add the image that I used for the front to keep it cohesive. And you can go ahead and move this around depending on how you want to orient that. That's kind of nice there. So there's some space here. And then I'm going to take, and I can do either a square or I could do a circle, whatever shape that you want to do. I'm going to do circles. And I'm going to alt copy these. So I have 3 circles because I have 3 images to place in here. And then I'm going to select all and choose align. Sorry. Where's my alignment? Right there. Okay, under object and layout. So once you select all 3 of your image boxes, I would say keep them the same size, and I would say keep them the same size and shape for consistency. And I'm going to kind of overlap this just slightly over in the white area. And I'm going to center with this. Okay. And then I can go in and place those individual images that get our salad. And we have the frittata. And I'm just fitting it in these circles. It's a nice way to keep these consistent. And now you have a pattern of imagery too. You can always add drop shadow to these. I'm going to do a shift to select all. And then I'm going to go effects, drop shadow. And you can add a slight drop shadow. I'm just going to pull this back just slightly so it's not so pronounced. Just do a really light drop shadow there. There we go. So you can see, let me hide all of my lines here. You can see how that pops. But you still have a nice space and a nice balance of imagery that you're pulling in the cover into your inside. So it's consistent. Okay, now we're into the styles. So now what you want to do is you want to pull up your styles. And again, paragraph styles are for anything more than one word that you want to alter and create a style so that you could repeat it easily and keep it cohesive. A character style is basically you're just altering one word, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to do a select all, and I'm just going to select all of my type. And in paragraph styles, I'm going to create basic paragraph, just leave that alone. That's always defaulted there. I'm going to click on the upper right-hand corner of my paragraph style panel, and I'm going to say new paragraph style. And I'm going to start this by renaming this body copy. And this should be set, you know, pretty much all of the body copy here will be set towards to be cohesive with this font. So, you know, you might want to pick a font family that you know you can use different styles within. Like Avenir, Next, Condensed is a great one because under this one you have so many different font style options. I'm going to just choose regular for body copy. And I would say keep between 10 and 11 point size with maybe a 14-point leading for your copy. Everything else looks okay, click OK. And don't forget to actually select all of your top copy right when you're ready to assign it to your style guide, and then choose body copy to apply it. You'll see it change. Okay? Now, the second step would be adding in your other styles so that you have good hierarchy. Because you can see here, you know, it looks great, but then it's kind of hard to see what is what. And there's actually 3 sections to this menu. There's smoothies, there's in a bowl, there's on a plate, and there's actually 4 sections in a glass. So it's nice to have not only the extra white space in between, but maybe something to make the sections bigger and more pronounced. And also going further, you know, kind of adding to it, maybe tabs and leaders for your price points, maybe having the actual name of the menu item being more bold. The description, you can keep the same. You can keep it as the body copy. All right, with that being said, I'm going to set the biggest, most emphasized words for my 4 sections here. So I'm just going to highlight smoothies, and I'm going to do a new paragraph style. And I'm going to name this subhead section, or you can name it food section. I would keep this. You could totally change this. Like if you wanted to say utilize maybe the font that you used up here, maybe in a tagline. This one is Dancing Script. You can do that for this particular word because it's only one word. So food, let's see, subhead. And then you can keep it cohesive in that regards. I would definitely make this bigger. Oh, it's setting my other type there. So I'm going to set this at, let's try 18. And I'm going to give it a color of, let's do a blue. And you can change that too once we get forward here. I'm going to do select all. Oh, you know what? I actually, let me undo this. Let me go to do this again. I actually saved over my body copy. Let's do a new paragraph style. That's why it changed. Food subhead. My apologies. When I went and undid it, it changed everything. Dancing Script. 18. Let's do this again. Okay. Character color. Let's do blue again and click OK. Now when I check it, it's going to change it. If you wanted to change this color, say if you wanted to pull color from your image, for example, like say if you wanted to grab this real pretty blue up here, just take your eyedropper tool, take a sample of it, And then double click on your fill and you can add the RGB to your swatch. Okay, once you add it, we can go back and actually change this. So let's go ahead and double click and go back to character color. And we're on the food subhead that we just changed to. And it looks like it added 2 by accident, but there's my color right there. Okay, so the beauty behind style guides is now that I created this one style for this section, I can now go ahead and select the others very easily. Look at that, without having to go back. And this one I have to treat a little differently, so we'll get to that in a second. All right, with that being said, now what we're going to do is we're going to worry about this subhead with tabs and leaders. So with this selected, we're going to choose the first line with the price point. We're going to go new paragraph style. And I'm just going to make this bold in my font style. I'm going to maybe make it a little bit bigger. Let's do 12 points. And this is the important part to pay attention to. So we want to go down to tabs. And I showed you how to use tabs in a recent video. So if you're unclear of how to do that, you might need to review that again. And I'll show you very quickly here. So I want the price point to go to the very end of my text box. This ruler shows you how wide your text box is. So it goes to about 5 inches. So we want to do a right justified tab at the very end of our, see how that little line moves of our text box. So we're going to put it right there, right in front of that white triangle. Now before you click anything, okay, we need to put a leader in there. Those are those little dots that lead the eye from the description to the price point. So go ahead and click in where it says leader and put period. And before you hit period, either hit tab or click in here so that it applies it, and then click OK. Now you have to remember, because you set this as a new style, we have to go ahead and change it to that new style. We forgot to rename it, so let's go ahead and rename this. Let's see, description, point, price point. Okay. Now, in order for the leader to show up, we have to go ahead in front of the price point here. I'll zoom in so you can see. We have to delete that space in between there and then hit tab on your keyboard. That's the magic. You'll see it happen. But you need to put that tab in there before it actually shows. So go ahead and set all of these to your style. Hit delete in between, get that extra space out, or else if you don't put that extra space out in between here, it'll just show like a big space. So price point, I'm going to go ahead and delete that space and hit tab. Same thing here. Delete space, hit tab, delete space, not the actual money sign. Hit tab. I actually might make these a little smaller. It looks like the copy is kind of obnoxiously big here. But you can kind of see how easy it is once you have your style set, you know, how easy this is, how more efficient you are instead of changing these all by hand. So that's the nice thing about setting your styles, especially if you have a lot of information, you know, working with 100-page publications, for example. You know, it can get kind of it can get kind of crazy. So having styles is very helpful. Now, because I see that, you know, this font is kind of getting big, I'm going to go ahead and take it back down to 10 points and see how easy it was. I just double clicked right on top of that price point and changed it to 10 points. I can even maybe just give it a medium instead of a bold, and it changes all of that, all of them. You can probably see a little bit better when I zoom in here. Pretty cool. Okay, if you have something like this, for instance, where, you know, you have a list of copy that you want to also add a paragraph style to, because maybe you want to set this differently, go ahead and select the actual paragraph first, go to new paragraph style, and we're going to name this indented copy and bulleted copy. Maybe we'll put a bullet on it too. All right, so everything pretty much stays the same. The only thing that we want to do is have an indent. So go to indents, and we would do left indent, probably 0.125, probably is a good space to start. We'll see how that looks. And then maybe add a bullet point. So go down to bullets and numbering and list type bullets. And let's take that back. Okay, that tab position. We could probably take that down to 0 and see what happens here real quick because we have an indent. Oh, I don't know if we can take that down to 0. We might have to go 0.5. All right, we'll see how that looks. All right, so then we have to go back to your paragraph style once you click OK and choose indented copy. Okay, so to apply it, we just need to adjust the space because this is too wide in between here. So let's go ahead and double click in there, just like I thought. And we're going to go back to bullets and numbering. Oops. Let's put this closer. So we're going to change the indent to which it's assigned to. So we're going to put point, and I'm changing it right here, 0.3125. Click OK. So that's just a nice way to separate these out. Now you don't have to put a bullet point, say if the bullet point's a little bit much. You can go ahead and take that off completely. If you want to, just put none, click OK. And then maybe at this instance, you're just adding a character style, which would just be a bold option. So a name character style would be food bold. And the only thing we would change is the, we just change it to bold. So we can go in here and actually just change just right before this hyphen or the M dash. You can change that so that just, you know, pulls out a little bit better. Same thing here. Maybe the body copy you just want indented a little bit. So go ahead and go back to your paragraph style. Go back to body copy. This is kind of the beauty behind editing. And just put a little indent in there to just, you know, sidestep the body copy a little bit so it just pops out a little bit more. So you would do a left indent. Oops. We would do, cancel that. We don't want our, let's see. Let's go ahead and do that again. Okay, indent. Yeah, we don't want that either. Left indent. Okay. For some reason, this is actually indenting even this copy here for some reason. So let's go ahead and take that indent out. If there is an indent in there, we don't want that. Let's go ahead and take that out. There we go. That's what's going on. Same with the subheads here. For some reason, the indents are being applied. So go ahead and take those indents off. There we go. So you can see this is kind of and, you know, obviously, if there's copy getting really close to the price point here, I would just do a shift return, like right here, shift return, just so that, you know, it's just reading nicer, and it's not a weird wrap there. Okay. You can also make, you know, certain things bold. I think that looks pretty good. Like the price points, you can actually make these bold as well. Completely up to you. Okay, in a glass is treated a little differently. So what you might want to do is you might want to do a whole different paragraph style for this. Completely up to you. You just kind of be aware of this little red square here. And what that's telling you is, hey, you know, we have some more copy here, but your text box isn't big enough to show it all. So make sure that you're kind of keeping an eye out for that, just so that you're not deleting any copy. There's some copy here that was not showing. So I'd say a little trick with this, because I only have, you know, maybe 2 lines that are bumping down, is just go ahead and copy those 2 lines, delete it, take your text tool, paste in your other two words in here and align it as such. All right, well, I hope this helps.